Hello everyone and welcome to today's presentation. Today we'll be talking about measurement skills. Measurement skills is a key concept in understanding how data is collected and analyzed in statistics. So as a way of an objective, today we intend that every single one will understand the difference between the four main measurement skills. We intend to classify the different types of data according to their skills. Understanding what various variables are is also our target today, and we'll try to distinguish between discrete and continuous variables, and we'll try to make sense of what kind of analyses are possible for different type of data. So these are some of the things we'll be talking about today. All right, let's talk about measurement. What is measurement? Measurement in statistics means assigning numbers to objects or events according to clear logical rules. All right, these numbers have properties like identity, order, and sometimes additives. For example, think about your school class. Just think about your school class. Assigning roll numbers from 1 to 30 purely arbitrarily, identifying or trying to create a form of identification is okay. Now think about this also. Ranking students by height in a queue from shortest to tallest. Scoring results on a test out of maybe 500 students, or okay, let's say 50 students. You're scoring students on a test scoring result on a test out of 50 marks. Just imagine that. Now measuring students' exact physical height and weight is also part of these numbers, which have properties and order and some additives which make up what we refer to as a measurement in statistics. Now each of these situations uses a different measurement skill, of course. All right, now we have four skills of measurement. Let me explain the four measurement skills and how they differ. The first is the nominal skill. The nominal skill. This skill is about identity alone, like names, labels, without any logical order, right? They're just purely for identification, the identity alone. For example, your roll numbers are assigned randomly. The only rule: no two students have the same number, but there are no meaning to the numbers, number 10 being bigger or number 5 being smaller and all that. It's just for identification purpose, right? Now, what's the key point here? The key point here is that nominal data cannot be ordered or meaningfully added. All right? Okay. Now let's go to the second of the four skills of measurement. That is ordinal skill. Here we can order or rank the objects, but the exact difference between ranks is unknown. Example for this is students lined up by height and numbered from 1 to like 30. You know, student 10 is taller than student 9 from the order. All right, remember, ordinal skill is just about order or rank. Okay, now the key takeaway here is that identity and order applies all the time, but not the difference or ratio. Okay, now let's go to the third one. The third one is interval skill. This skill lets us to know the exact difference between values, but there is no true 0 point. An example of this is scores on a 50-mark test. When you have a 50-mark test, and this can easily help us illustrate this. A student scoring 40 obviously did better than one scoring 20. Okay, and the difference of 20 marks is meaningful in this instance. However, a score of 0 doesn't mean no achievement. It's just a point on the scale. Now, key takeout from this interval scale is that it is based on identity, it's based on order, and meaningful differences apply in this particular scale. Ratios do not. Okay, now let's go to the fourth. The fourth skill The fourth scale is called the ratio scale. This scale has all the properties of interval scale, and a true 0 point that represents absence of the property measured. An example of this is measuring students' height or weight. Zero height or zero weight means none at all in this instance. Here, the ratios make sense. One person being twice as tall as another is meaningful. Now, the key takeaway at this point for this ratio scale is that identity, other difference, and ratios all apply. Okay, now let's talk about types of variables. Let's talk about type of variable. Now, variables are properties or characteristics that can take different values or qualities. They fall into two major or two main categories. We have the quantitative variables and we have the qualitative variables. Let's start with the qualitative variables. Qualitative variables describe the categories or names like gender, which could be male or female, nationality, or study or course of study. These are usually discrete. You can't have a fraction of male or female. All right. For example, these relate mostly to nominal or ordinal scales. Now, for quantitative variables describes or tries to describe measurable quantities like height, weight, top best scorer, or something like that. These are often continuous. Values can be fractions and decimals in some instances, and they can be linked to interval or ratio scales. Okay, now let's go straight to what kind of analysis is appropriate for this particular kind of or for different kinds of variables. Now, depending on the measurement scale and the type of variable, different statistical methods apply. Like now, we can start with the non-parametric statistics. Non-parametric statistics handle qualitative data such as frequencies or ranks, where mathematical operations like additions don't make sense. Now, parametric statistics apply to quantitative data, where data are numerical and operations like additions, subtractions, multiplications, and divisions are valid in this instance. Now, choosing the right method helps ensure meaningful, accurate conclusions in all instances. Okay, so the ability to choose the right method helps one to make meaningful and accurate conclusions. All right, now today, what have we really talked about? We've talked about nominal data, ordinal data, interval data, and ratio data. Now, nominal data, we have said, are names or labels, and they are purely for identification or identity only. Now, ordinal data add order or rank, but no fixed interval are added. Right now, interval data have ordered units and meaningful differences, but no true zero actually. Now, ratio data include all the properties, including the meaningful 0 point. Now, understanding these scales helps us to classify data correctly and choose the right analysis for them.